Welcome back to Tip TV. My name's Charlie Burton. In this series, I'm going to be interviewing a number of traders from all different backgrounds. Today, I've got a trader I'm going to be interviewing from a very rare background. It's a female. Lily Matz, welcome to the show. I didn't realise you've actually been on Tip TV before, about 18 months ago, wasn't it?
Hi, yes, it was, I think, summer 2014 with Zach.
Yeah, okay. So if only I'd have known, I would have prepared a load of different questions. We'll be fine. So Lily, let's just get started and just ask a little bit more about your background before we get into where you are today. So tell me, what got you interested in trading in the first place?
I was working for a startup and we used to do a lot of pitching for investors. And after a while, I thought I want to be on the other side of this game. So that's how I started looking into books of investments, so reading a lot. And with the investment came trading, and I got a real passion for trading. I started looking into it, reading about it, and eventually ended up trading.
And what's your professional background?
Architecture.
So your professional background is architecture.
Yes.
But you were dealing with startups several years ago, and now you're trading. So it's quite a variety. Are you still involved with architecture?
Yes, I'm still working on my PhD, and the company was also an architectural startup. So
I see. Right. Okay.
That's the.
And how long do you think before you complete your PhD?
This year, fingers crossed.
Right. Well, good luck with that. So, so you'll be a doctor.
I hope so.
Yes. Okay. And a doctor trader. So. Could be really good. Okay, so what were your initial thoughts and impressions on trading? So this was 3 years ago. It took your interest. What were your impressions of trading at that time?
I didn't have much contact in the first 7-8 months, so I was just reading. I didn't have contact with the outside world. I was just reading about trading and thinking that this is fascinating from the personal challenge point of view.
Yeah.
So I was more interested with the actual trading itself rather than the financial side of trading.
So was that what your early goals were when it comes to trading?
Yes. I wanted to know if this is, because it was described to be this kind of holistic skills required, psychology, emotional control, and knowledge. So all of this intellectual knowledge together as a bundle, and I thought, can I do this? Is this something that I can do? And it was fascinating. So you
see it more of an intellectual challenge, because a lot of people who get into trading see trading as just a short-term way of making a load of money, get rich quick, whatever.
Yes.
But for you, it wasn't quite that way.
No. And I think it started off as more of an academic interest in the academic side of trading, the theoretical side of trading. That book, John Murphy, to me, that was a beautiful book that I just kept on reading and reading. And
this is John Murphy's technical analysis book. So if anyone's not read John Murphy, it is the Bible of technical analysis, and you should look it up. And it's quite thick, but it's a great book, isn't it?
It's really worth it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what you did initially. Tell me something you did right in those early days and something you did wrong in those early days.
I think I did right to be patient and not just, I heard about trading, I'm going to go and open an account and just start trading without knowing what am I doing. So that was the good thing. Yeah. I took the time to actually research for 8-9 months, even more. And what I did wrong is then when I started trading on a spread betting account, that theory, most of it just was forgotten. And I found few easy tricks that worked. And I started getting greedy and stuck with those tricks without developing as a trader. So I chose this lazy, comfortable state where I was making money every day. And I was feeling like, okay, I'm there.
Okay, let's rewind the clock a little bit here, because she said that she was lazy and comfortable and making money every day. Isn't that what everybody wants?
I think it is if you think that the same trick is going to work every day. But as markets evolve and change and go through stages, I quickly discovered after 3 months that the same setups, the same correlations, the same thing that was working, it just stopped working.
Okay, so let's just really drill down into this, because I want to raise this because it's quite an incredible amount, a percentage return that you achieved in quite a short period of time. You turned something like £1,000 into £16,000 in what, 3-month window?
Yes.
Where most retail traders sitting here watching this would say, I'll have some of that, Lily, show me how you did it. Let's talk a little bit more about what you did there, which was what helped you make that money, and then let's talk about what happened after that.
There were certain market conditions at that time, those 3 months, where the markets were ranging, the markets that I was trading. So as a range, I was making the most of range trading. And I was playing certain correlations with horrible risk management techniques in place, which I wouldn't recommend anyone to use.
Give me an example of the horrible risk management that you were using then.
Well, inverse risk management.
To what degree?
I would risk 100 to make 10.
100 to make 10?
But it would work 99% of the time.
Yeah, and this is the thing, because most traders are risk averse or loss averse. So they'll do anything to be right in a trade, won't they? They want to be right 90%, 99% of the time even. So you had a strategy which was right a heck of a lot of the time. But you only had to be wrong 1 or 2% of the time to wipe it all out.
Lose everything.
So you did 3 months, you made a heck of a lot of money, and then what went wrong after that? The correlations went?
Well, the 1%.
The 1% changed. 1%
happened.
became the 90.
Yes.
And so the correlations, just the market's dynamics changed?
Yes, the market started trending, getting out of the range. So the index, well, 2 indices I was trading, they were just in a range at that whole period of time. And then they suddenly started trending. But this was the kind of condition that I haven't experienced before. So I was very surprised as to what is going on, and still thinking, okay, we just broke a little bit of the range, we're coming back, but we never came back.
Right, yeah.
And I think that the right thing I did, which I consulted with you at some point, I think, and you said that was the right thing to do, is stop.
Yep.
And
So
I stopped.
the good thing was that you stopped before you gave all that money back.
Yes.
Which is still a success, because most traders would just keep on at it. So your analytical skills came to the front in that you were constantly self-analyzing, and you could see that something had changed.
I could see that the correlations I was trading off with, they're just not there anymore. So there's no point in doing something and seeing the same results and it just wasn't working anymore. So there was no point in pushing, and I had to step back and devise a different strategy.
And so this was, if we look at a timeline, around about 18 months ago, would you say about?
Well, it was August 2014.
Right, okay.
Right after
to speak up, you don't have to whisper. But it was August 2014 that this happened, and you had this revelation that actually you've had a great run, but it's no longer working. So then you sort of had to go back to the drawing board, didn't you?
Yes, and I tried to optimize this strategy in many, many ways, but it just wasn't working anymore. And I think it was also because I had to start uni in September, and I had all these other things going on. So at one point I was thinking, okay, I'm going to quit trading. I'm done.
Oh, you felt that at the time?
I felt that, yes.
And what was it that made you stay with it?
You.
Me?
Yes.
How the hell did that happen? So yeah, you called me, didn't you? Or you pulled me aside. I was with some traders at some point, and was it that day you asked if you could have a chat? And
you were doing the weekend the weekend trading training
course,
2 days. Yes, course in Heathrow, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I went with a friend. And she told me, okay, come. And I saw that kind of as a sign, because I had this lingering kind of passion. I wanted to get back to trading, but I tested so many things, and I couldn't see the way. How can I continue this? And it's that cycle when you get into this that it's not working, and you can't emotionally bring yourself into that state. And I had the chat with you, and I told you about this is what I was doing. I stopped, and now I just cannot get back. And you said, disengage and just go back slowly and try other things. And I think that was very inspirational, that weekend that I spent with you and Ken.
So
it got me back into
disengage from where you were, because you were like at loggerheads at that point in your mindset, that you felt trapped in that you couldn't see any way out from where you were.
Yeah.
But sometimes a bit like Maverick in Top Gun, he had to disengage from the dogfight for a while until he was ready to re-engage. Yeah. That sort of thing. You just needed to take that time out, disengage, and then you can come back at it with fresh eyes sometimes.
Yes, that was a beautiful advice that I followed.